This is a tutorial on how to make a French double core end band, which is what you see here. There are 2 cores inside, and the third row is a bead row. Okay, so there are various cords you can use. This is a 3mm end band core made of leather. This is a 2mm cord, also of leather, and a 1mm cord, also of leather. When using the 1mm, I tend to swap to the nylon though, because I find that it's sturdier. It's a guitar string. You can also go ahead and use batonets, which is a French term. I hope I'm pronouncing correctly. All it is rolled up paper like a lollipop stick, and you can make them as thin or as big as you like. Okay, so now let's discuss thread. This is Swaperlay, and it is my favorite. It has a very nice weight to it, and it's what the previous end bands were made of that you saw at the beginning of the video. It handles really nice. It's very different, or I should say thicker, than the Japanese silk. The Japanese silk, this is size 9, and it is about half the weight of the Swaperlay, and I'll show that for you now. So just be mindful when choosing which thread to use for your end bands, what will be easy for you to use. If you have any hand issues, the thicker thread of the Swaperlay will be easier. This is the needle I use. It's on the longer end, and that's because I really like using it to find the signatures when I have it in my finishing press. It's a lot easier. So for this tutorial, we are going to use all of these colors to make our end band. We're going to grab our text block, thread the needle, and go right through the first signature of the text block. Okay, so here it is, poked through that first signature. You're going to pull all the threads through to the back of the book, through the spine, and then you can either tie a knot, dab some glue, or what I like to do is use a piece of tape to secure the ends of the thread to the back of the book so they don't get in the way while you're sewing. After the end band is done, I will go back and secure it with PVA. Okay, so the first thing you want to decide is which color you want to show. So we're going to start with red. I'm going to separate it out and leave it at the back of the book, and I'm going to pull the other threads forward. Then I'm going to grab some leather core. I have nylon string, which is 1mm, the guitar string, and 2mm. I'm going to put the 2mm one on the bottom and stack the nylon core on top, and then I'll start wrapping. So take the color you want, in this case red. We're going to bring it through the middle, over the top, then through the middle again, and to the front. Now you're going to lay it off to the side, put your other threads over that red core, take the red core over that, and out both bottom cores. And then tighten it, and make sure not to lose your bead row. You may need to fiddle with it a bit, but the first few are always a little finicky. Okay, so let's show that again. It's a little bit of a better camera angle now. We're going to take it through the middle, over the top, then it's going to go through the middle again, make sure they're stacked correctly, through the middle, into the front. Wrap your other threads around the color you want, take the other one and out the back. Now we're just going to scooch everything into place, like so. You will have to hang on to it until you can make your first tie down. It's not going to want to stay put. You can also elect to pin it if you want, which is something that I used to do. Okay, so again, let's get the third wrap going. It's going to go through the middle, over the top core, through the middle again, over the bottom core. Wrap your other threads around the color you want. Take your color and put it under the bottom most core and pull it tightly making sure not to lose your bead row as you do. Let's go again. You're going to take your color, you're going to put it through the middle of your cores, wrap it around the topmost core, put it back through the middle, over the bottommost core, wrap your threads around the color that you're working with, and take it out the bottom and out the back. If you're finding it difficult to scritch it, don't be afraid to open the cores up and really make sure that they're nice and tight in there so that you don't get any unsightly holes in your end band. When you're ready to do a color switch, you're going to take the color you want to do next. You're going to put it under both cores, over the thread you were working with previously. Take the red thread that we were working previously, and bring it back to the front. Then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to take your new color, put it through the middle, over the top, and then take it again through the middle and over the bottommost core. Then wrap your threads around your new color, like so, and take your color underneath your cores and out the back of the text block. The only thing you need to worry about from this moment forward is to make sure you're not doing a color switch while you're also doing a tie down. That can lead to complications, and it's just a lot easier if you color switch after a tie down or before a tie down, just not on the same stitch. We're going to show a tie down next. So what you're going to do is the same thing, through the middle, over the top, through the middle again. You're going to wrap your threads around your working thread, your color thread that you're working with, but instead of going under the cores and out the back, you're going to thread the needle with the color you're working with, and then you're going to take that threaded needle and poke it through the closest signature that you're working with. In this case, we're going to poke it through the second signature, and then we're going to pull it tight. So here we go. First, find the second signature, put it through that first signature hole, and it can be a little tricky at times, but you also are poking through the glue from your spine being glued. There it is. Push it through, and then as you're pulling it through, make sure you're not losing your bead row inside the signature, because that can happen. So straighten up everything, scooch everything off to the side, then have equal tension on the back thread and the front threads, and then maneuver it so that the bead row does not get in between the signatures and lost. And then pull it gently, and then there's your first tie down. And then from this moment on, it's pretty secure, and then you can just start your next wrap around again. So it goes through the middle, over the top, through the middle again, over the front, wrap your threads around that working color thread, in this case orange, take that orange thread and underneath both cores and out the back. Okay, so hopefully you guys have the pattern now. This is a color switch we're doing now. We're swapping to yellow. I'm just going to sew the rest of the end band, and you're welcome to follow along. So right here, you're going to see me make a mistake. As you can tell, as I'm squishing the threads in place, there is a green thread where I lost my bead row. If that ever happens to you, all you have to undo is undo that last stitch and then redo it, and then you're good to go again. Right here, we're just making a tie down with our green thread. Go ahead and find the middle of the signature, push it through, and pull it and out the back. Make sure to not lose your bead row in the middle of the signature. Make sure everything pulls nice and tight and where you want it to be. If you have trouble keeping track of where the middle of your signatures are so that you know when next to do a tie down, I've seen people use post-it notes, slips of paper, anything that you can just slip in between your pages, and then the finishing press should hold it in place as you sew. I've always found it to be a little bit cumbersome while I'm sewing though, and I would just rather find it in the moment. Here we have another tie down, this time in purple. Just a note, in case this is your first Endband, you are going to see the color of your Endband thread in the middle of the signature when you open the book. It's not something that I view as particularly important, but there are some people out there who don't like that look. So if you decide to color switch and you have white or whatever color that you sewed your text block in, you can always use that color as your preferred color when doing a tie down, so long as you color switch back to it. For this next bit, I am going to do a lot of fast color switches. I'm kind of breezing past the tie downs at this point because the Endband is pretty secure. And I wanted to show you how often you can color switch. You don't need to have like 4 or 5 different wraps before you color switch. You can just do a single thread and then color switch right out of it. It is harder and you can lose the bead row very easily if you do that. So just be careful. With these, I'm doing 2 just to illustrate and get all the rainbow in. But you can do that and it is very fun. And as you can see right here, that is exactly where I did lose my bead row, and I have to unwind it just a bit and then put the red back where it belongs on the bead row and then do that last wrap again. So it can happen, and especially if you do it really fast, where you just do like 1 or 2 wraps and then you do the next color, it is very easy to lose that bead row. So just be mindful as you're sewing, stitch it all together, and if it doesn't make sense, unwrap it a bit and continue on. Okay, so now we've gotten to the final tie down. Go ahead, take your working thread, in this case purple, thread it on a needle, push it through the signature and out the back. Then we are going to thread all of the other colors through the needle again. At this point, a lot of them are uneven lengths, so I like to trim them up and then thread it. Then do the same thing again, push it through the middle signature and out the back. Once it's through, you can go ahead and tie a knot or glue it down. And at that point, you can also glue down the original threads that you originally taped down as well. I tend to let my text blocks sit on my desk for a while, so I will just go ahead and tie a knot here, and I will PVA up the length when I go to put my mole on, and then just get the end bands then. The mole will also help to secure the upper and lower tie downs for the end bands. All the bits at the top here that you see, those threads, the two purples, the green and the orange. If you put the mole up to here, you will be able to better secure it, and then flatten down the rest and mold down that, and then you're good. Go ahead, also put a dab of PVA on the ends of your threads, and then use nail clippers to trim up your cores, and then you're done. And that's the end of this. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you end up using it, I would love to see your end bands. Go ahead, tag me on Instagram at Duran Binding. Thank you. Bye.